All right.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Get Heavy Podcast. Joining you here on another random night with another random fucking guest. But this is my buddy. John's not here. He'll be popping in a little bit. He had something to do. So this is my buddy Craig Mccracken. Same name, so I know he's a fucking good dude. Craig's from Ventura. Played in many bands in Ventura. Covering Scars, probably being the last one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he played and covered in Scars, all kinds of stuff. But now he is a crematorium operator, and he burns bodies. And I wanted to talk to him because he recently volunteered a couple weeks of his time, or a week of your time. Was it how long?
2 weeks.
2 weeks of his time to actually go to New Jersey and help them catch up on disposing of the bodies that have been, obviously due to Corona or whatever else at this point, I guess. So anyway, how are you, man? It's been a long time.
Good. Doing good.
Yeah.
Nice
And
to-
you're living in Oregon, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you moved out a while ago. We haven't spoken in a while, but
No, I've only come back for Covered in Scars reunions and
right. Yeah.
yeah.
Are you playing music out there at all?
I just met some people.
Oh, okay.
So I'm starting to network. I have one guy that we're kind of doing a long distance thing. He's like an hour away, but
Yeah.
no, I was playing bass in like an alternative band,
Nice.
which I enjoyed playing bass. Never played bass in a band, and
It's my favorite. I would love to play bass all the time.
Geezer Butler is one of my favorite people of all
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
as a musician, so
Yeah.
I was digging it, and I got a badass rig now. But
Oh, yeah.
might
See,
play
that's a funny thing about being a musician is like, oh, I'm playing a new instrument. Guess I'm gonna have to buy a bunch of shit.
yeah, ooh,
Yeah,
I drove
yeah.
all the way to the coast and shit.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. So yeah, I mean, you've been gone for what, 6 years or something? I mean, how
6
long?
years, yeah,
It's about 6 years. Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a long time, but
yeah.
so tell us a little bit about like what you did, or obviously you're a crematorium operator there. This is what you do for a living now,
Right.
which burning bodies is so metal, dude. It's the most
I
metal
know.
thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm sure the reality of it is probably not so great, but maybe it is.
Well,
I don't know.
Eventually, it's your job day to
becomes a
day.
job, right?
There's still times of going, wow, this is what the fuck I do. Like,
Yeah. And I honestly, when I heard you took that, I couldn't have thought of a better job for you.
that's what everybody said
Yeah,
too. I mean, I used to drive a Cadillac hearse, so
totally, man. You had the hearse for years, right?
yeah.
Yeah. We're like, oh, Craig's here. The hearse is here. So
Oh,
now
yeah,
you just
yeah.
started loading bodies in it and taking them out.
I know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could have double dutied, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would do that as well. When I started, I did removals, which is actually going and picking up the deceased, and that's interesting, more so because you're at the scene. And here, being a small town, you are the coroner. We go on police rotation. There's 3 funeral homes,
Hmm.
so each funeral home takes 3 months. One takes 6 months, and it changes. So
Oh, wow.
we do, yeah. I mean, car accidents,
Ugh.
suicides, murders, anything.
right.
There's very little murders here, but
Yeah, it does happen though, I'm sure.
it does happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're from Washington. That's what.
And how did you get into that? Like, so we knew you were moving, right? Everyone
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, Craig's moving. He's fucking out of here," And how did you get into that?
To crematory operator?
Mhm.
Well, actually, back in 2000, I was interested. Early days, the internet, or everybody acquiring the internet, still with dial-up AOL. So I was taking a course through mail,
Okay.
and it was
Through
like,
mail.
yeah,
That's so good.
yeah, and it was like $60 a month.
Uh-huh.
And then I was out of town. I was in San Diego or something, and I guess the payment was due, and they contacted my house because we didn't have cell phones then. That was,
Mhm.
I mean, they existed, but
Yeah.
we had
It wasn't
beepers.
commonplace yet.
Yeah, and so anyways, my girlfriend at the time, or whatever, for whatever reason, didn't pay it or whatever, and that was it. They don't take the payment. You can't do it for like a year.
Oh, wow.
So I've always had interest, and so as we were talking earlier, I was doing HOA management. Shit was bringing me down. You get people that just complain all the time. You're
Oh,
in the
dude, that's
middle
yeah,
of bullshit all the time.
totally.
commuting to Westlake from.
And I know you well enough to know that your bullshit tolerance is pretty low, right? So
Yeah.
it's got to be just killing you all day long,
Yeah.
My bullshit tolerance is about this much, you know what I mean?
But I had good customer service being a restaurant manager for a long time.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's true.
You smile and you go, hey, and they're trying to fuck you, and then in the background you're like, wishing death upon them. So
yeah, of course.
Same difference in that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I was just being brought down. I mean, commuting to Westlake from Ventura every day, HOA people bitching. So I was like, I need the hell out of California. And anyways, had family up here. It was about 20 minutes from here in Murphy. And so yeah, I jumped ship and got up here, and then helped out around the property for a couple weeks because, you got property, you got weed abatement and all those annual things you got to do. And then hopped on the computer and thought, okay, now it's time to look for work. Saw a crematory operator and went, no fucking way.
That's cool.
So I applied, and then, I wanted that job bad. I was dressed to the nines when I went there, and I was like, hey.
Did you bring the hearse in?
No, because I sold the hearse before I moved.
Yeah. Would have been rad if you showed up. I'm ready.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah. Then they probably think you're like a creep or a ghoul.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But then, some people are a little morbid who get into it.
It seems like it. I actually knew a dude that's, I guess, is a coroner, and dude, he told me a story about like breaking the toes of this old man. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm done, dude. That's nuts. Like the guy's dead. No one's in the house. He fucking was moving him and a toe broke. And so he was like, just snapped the other one. You're like, oh, okay. All right.
It's a trip. It's a trip.
I bet, man. Yeah.
That's what I was saying, because it's a small town and doing removals and stuff. I also would assist with autopsies. And I'm basically Joe Blow, who's got a job as a crematory operator.
Right. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm assisting the coroner with, autopsies. And then you're seeing an autopsy and thinking, what the fuck?
Whoa. Yeah. That's a trip, dude. I mean, I watched my wife's cesarean, she's had 3 of them, and it blew my fucking mind. You know what I mean? For like you're all, what? That's the inside of a human body? Holy shit.
Right.
There's colors I had never expected. It was holy. I mean, it's a trip, dude. I mean, even the doctor was like, I was like, can I look? And he's like, yeah, but if you look and pass out, I'm going to leave you there. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You don't want to deal with my big ass on the ground. He's trying to save my kid, But anyway, it's a trip, dude. I mean, I can't even imagine picking that stuff up all day.
Well, that was cool that you got in there, though, because
Oh yeah, dude, I'm a death metal guy. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's like,
right.
I've been staring at Cannibal Corpse records for 25, 30 years.
Yeah, you're like, they did a pretty good job on the album cover.
yeah.
But yeah, there's that aspect to it. I like behind the scenes. I like being able to see things and experience things. Not everybody does. So
yeah.
It was like when I did Stage Crew, you're behind the scenes, you're behind the magic and everything else, or
Yeah, you see how the machine works,
Yeah.
That's great. So you become a coroner. You've been doing that for 6 years now, right? I mean, I'm sure you've seen some wild shit. I'd love to hear some stories, but how did you go from working as a crematorium operator in Oregon to you recently flew out to Jersey, right?
Right. Yeah.
And volunteered your time to help with the COVID stuff or what? I mean, they were just backlogged on bodies, right? Can you give me some stats and like how that kind of happened?
Yeah. When I first got contacted, I knew like 2 weeks before, and I thought, I'd probably do it because we're kind of slow mom and pop operation, but we're corporate owned. We just got off a police rotation, and we're having a major slowdown. And I thought, I could go and help because I heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, I was kind of filling out our sister funeral home in Medford. We still had a lot of cases. And anyway, they started dropping, and sure enough, a survey that said for volunteering if you're on defense. I was like, well, that's me. And I answered a simple questionnaire, and then I was contacted that afternoon by somebody in Jersey and asking me how soon can I get out there. And I was like, just give me a couple days to settle my affairs and, prepare. And
So they fly you out there, they put you up.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, are you working around the clock? Are you working?
No, I went in there thinking I was going to be 10 to 14-hour days, and it was basically 8 hours with a working lunch.
Yeah.
So they had enough people to do that, but definitely moving the whole time.
How many bodies can you burn in an hour or 8-hour shift?
In an 8-hour shift, we would do about 14. We had
14 in the same thing?
No, we had 3 retorts. So we
Okay.
had enormous things. Mine's the simple ones. Mine's like an old car. Mine's
Okay.
an all 1801 model, and
So you just like close the door and fucking that's it.
yeah,
Huh?
and, you know, a couple manual things like throat air and hearth air, you know.
Yeah, you gotta make sure the flume's open.
Yeah, you know, things like that.
That's
And these are like
crazy, dude.
computerized things, you know, and then we had to use a program called CarePoint, you know, so which we have not adopted here yet. We were supposed to in April,
Okay.
but due to COVID, didn't happen. So I'd learned like the system of check in and check out, and then there's 3 retorts you're going back and forth on. My arm still has a little bit of injury. I don't know if you can see it on there. But
Yeah, I can see a little bit of.
yeah,
you got some strawberries or something.
but it was slow roasted because I'm going back and forth to these things. And normally when you remove cremated remains, it's at least down to 700 degrees.
Oh, okay.
There was a hustle and a move. Well, we didn't talk about the queue. I'll get back to that. But
yeah,
so, I mean, you're pulling people out like 1600 degrees.
Wow.
And you're adjusting, as they would call it, basically moving things around to make it more efficient.
Right.
And you're doing that constantly between the 3 machines.
Wait, by adjusting, do you mean like moving body parts
Moving the
around
body,
into the fire? Okay. Holy moly, dude. Wow. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and you're getting in there pretty early in this one too. So yeah, it's pretty.
That's
pretty
crazy,
gnarly.
man. So I mean, what's a normal day like compared from? How did you see it all in Oregon? Like, did it hit your town very bad, or probably not really at all? Right?
We
Like,
had one
in
case.
Ventura's the same. It's the
Yeah.
numbers are pretty low, relatively low, right?
Yeah,
So,
we had one. We're in Josephine County, and we had one case.
right.
And I think, well, before I left, and then Medford, the bigger city,
Mm-hmm.
Jackson County had 8 or 9 when I left. I
Okay,
don't know what the numbers are now, but they're relatively the same. It's pretty low.
So you have like a skewed view before you even go because you know it's everyone's panicking and the fear, the media, all that shit's going probably, right? And I mean,
Yeah,
same thing as here is everyone's
yeah, but I
terrified to go
followed
outside.
it. Being in the funeral industry, we knew what was going on in New York.
Did you? So it wasn't a
Yeah.
surprise or a
No,
nothing.
and that's why I was like, shit, I need to, get in there and help out, or I
Yeah.
really should. And then you're like kind of conflicted on, is this stupid or noble, And,
Well, yeah, no, totally, dude. I mean,
and
they
I
obviously
thought,
needed the help, right?
yeah, oh yeah.
Because I
And
have friends that live there that are telling me that there's refrigerator trucks parked in front of their houses with bodies stored in them and shit.
we have 4 at my facility.
Really?
Yeah, 4 53-foot trailers, refrigerated trailers.
Wow.
And
So what was the backlog of bodies like that
when
you
I
had to
left, they had 600 in queue, and that's just for this facility in CarePoint. I think, I don't know if it went to others. So our corporation SCI that owns our little mom and pop one here.
Mm-hmm.
I hate corporations. I consider them the enemy of everything good. But
Sure, yeah.
in this particular case, they were useful. That's where they had all these volunteers and a bankroll to send us there.
Sure, yeah.
And that's where the place I worked out was like a well-oiled machine because of it.
Yeah.
The seat-ins were stored properly. Everything was orderly.
No guesswork. No.
So
I
that's
mean, nothing.
corporation
Right.
finally
Nailed it. Yeah.
Was worth something, you know.
Well, I mean, are we really surprised a corporation is good at fucking burying and hiding bodies, dude? It's not,
Right.
it's not really that. You know, it's kind of something they've been doing for a long time. They're fucking pretty good at it,
totally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anyways,
Burning evidence. Yeah.
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 But so it was useful in this, and they paid for everything. My day-to-day was paid for and everything. But yeah, we had 600 in queue prior to me leaving, and when I was there was 650 for give or take for, I don't know, almost the 2 weeks I was there. In the last 3 days, I think it went down to like 540 and then 530.
Wow.
So there was some progress, I guess. But I heard
so you're
700
burning. You personally are burning, 14, 15 bodies a day,
and we're running 24 hours a day.
and you're running 24-hour shifts just to try to keep the backlog of 600 underneath that threshold, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And so after the 2-week period, you still had 520 backlog.
Yep.
Now, are all these corona victims or
no?
So it's just whoever died in that area, essentially.
But the place that I'm at, April, they did 922 cremations in the month of April.
Wow.
Normally they would do about 300.
Okay.
So that was the thing. Like I said, our reality, on the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I come back here and I'm like, over in New York and Jersey, it's like apocalypse. Everybody has their mask. There's a couple that don't.
Yeah.
But it's no joke there. And then you come back here and it's like, what the fuck?
Well, you got dum-dums protesting on the corner.
Yeah, with no mask.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I see it. It went in a week here from, and I'm guilty of it. I'm not guilty of not wearing a mask. I wear a mask every time I go out. I mean, to the stores and shit. I'm walking with my kids.
When you're in contact, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, you're seeing the paradigm shift of people just literally being over it. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like people are protesting. We had like 200-300 protesters or something in Ventura on the government lawn. You're like, dude,
I saw that. Again, with no mask.
And I get it because it's not New York, and we're not LA. We're not even LA. You know what I mean? So it's like there's part of me that thinks it's such a huge overstep. But once you get the machine rolling, how do you stop it? You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's why I wanted to ask you, because I mean, we're from a similar background, and we both have an unhealthy trust for the government and every decision they make. But you going over there and seeing what the difference is, how bad it can be, it's got to be like an insane reality dose,
It is. And like I said, being there and then all of a sudden coming all the way back over here, you see the drasticness immediately, then you're like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
Like I told you how the plane changed, when we went up there, they had us zigzag and scattered, only a third of the plane was filled and everybody was far apart.
Okay.
Flight attendants didn't have masks. And then I heard it was mandatory that all passengers have masks.
And this is on the way home now.
Yeah, on the way home.
Right. So the scattered, dead serious going into New York, no joke.
Yeah.
And then
now
on the way 2 weeks later.
Yeah, the flight attendants had masks, but as we were talking earlier, they didn't scatter us big time, and I had a father and son sitting in front of me with no mask on.
Mm-hmm.
And they're right there. Little do they know I've come back from dealing with all the dead, but
dude, they don't know you've been burning fucking bodies all day long.
And you're just thinking like silly. It's fucking silly. And then Seattle airport wasn't that bad. I don't know. Probably about 70% had masks.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get into Medford, and that's a super small little airport,
right.
Way mellow. I always get tested for bombs when I'm there, though. But I get there, and then there's some middle-aged women joking. One went to hug the other one, assuming picking her up, and then she's like, oh, remember social distancing, and the one's all haha and like nuzzles up her nose to her and stuff, and they're laughing, and I'm just like, really, what the fuck?
You just came from a fucking war zone. You
I
know what I
came
mean?
from the
Yeah, that's
apocalypse.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you
And
come
it
here,
really
like,
does have that feeling over there, huh? I mean,
totally,
yeah,
totally.
because I mean, we talked to Kristen Connor,
Mhm.
Kristen,
Yeah,
and she had it, dude. Her and James got it, and
yeah,
she's like, dude, I thought I was gonna die, like,
yeah,
that's how bad it was, and she's a pretty healthy person,
yeah.
but yeah. So I mean, take me through what was the shock. I mean, what was the most shocking thing about that over there? I mean, or can you take me through a day that was like, what the fuck? Or I mean,
Mm,
obviously you're in full. Are you in Tyvek like suits and
no,
all that? You just got a mask or?
yeah. I think I went there with full PPE. Like I brought some of my own of what
Right,
we can spare because even our funeral home can't even get any.
right.
Um, we're like right there with hospitals as far as getting it.
Hmm.
But so, anyways, I went with my own. Even had my full-on personal face mask that's gnarly, and,
Hmm.
just in case. But the crematory is probably the best or safest within the death industry,
Okay.
especially in the way this one operated. Here I'm the one putting them in their cremation container and stuff. We're receiving them in a cremation container,
Oh, okay.
and you're
So
hoping that
someone's already dealt with it.
right.
Right.
And there's a
Okay.
protocol to deal with a confirmed COVID case. If they were following it, who knows? Mainly what you do though is you have a disinfectant, and you would put a face mask on them saturated with it, or web roll, which is like a cotton sheeting
Okay.
saturated on their face, and they're supposed to go in a bioseal bag, but I doubt everybody doesn't have bioseal bags, which is
Sure.
kind of like a Ziploc
Yeah. Yeah.
bag almost. So they'd be in a regular body bag. So whatever protocol they did follow, a lot of these in the East Coast are family owned funeral homes. Don't know, but you had to treat it. The paperwork, the container, anything could be infected. But we just used a hell of a lot of hand sanitizer and wore a mask.
Yeah.
Good N95, and then when you get home, depending on the person, I went back to my hotel. I got a hold of some disinfectant spray, and I would just drop I'd spray my clothes, spray my backpack, everything I was in contact with, and put my
Sure.
clothes in the dirty clothes, take a shower, and
Yeah.
never reuse clothes. Normal day to day. You're gonna have pants, you're gonna probably
Yeah.
put them back on. But,
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
I'll wear pants for fucking 2 weeks, It's like,
yeah,
I don't care.
like
Not
where I'm
now. Now I like really,
gonna,
it's you don't
like I
think
wear
about
everything
it.
for 2
You
weeks.
never thought about it until
Mm,
you go leave a store and then you're like, fuck man, I touched, the
right.
store, I touched everything, it's crazy.
And cross
But
contamination is gonna happen
yeah.
no matter how careful you are.
Well, and it's like you can be as paranoid as you want, but it's still hilarious to see someone driving in their own car by themselves with a mask on. You're like,
Yeah,
what are
yeah,
you doing?
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, what
People
the
don't
fuck are
know.
you
I just
doing,
saw a
man?
guy today, that had it, with his nose out,
Of
and
course, yeah.
I sat in the car, went out to get provisions, and I'm just watching. And here now, which I don't believe was as bad when I left. 90% of the people aren't wearing a mask.
See, and that's what I've seen in the last 2 weeks. I
Yeah,
have seen it go from 90% to like 60, maybe. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And it's like, fuck, man. Like, and
And that's
like I said, there's a million ways you can look at it. New York is bad. I just don't think people realize how bad it is. You know what I mean? Because they just don't have the
no.
perspective. You know what I mean? But for you to be able to see, I mean, was there a day where you're like, this is nuts? Like, was there any days like that or?
Well, I guess because I expected it and being in the death industry, there was one girl who was from Portland, and I think she was mainly administrative at her facility. Um, but she got there, I guess, and cried for the first 2 or 3 days.
Really?
She was just blown away by the amount of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess my expectations and my sense of, job to do,
Yeah.
I didn't go like, oh my God. I mean, you definitely feel that. You definitely sense that too. But I mean, it wasn't damaging me because again, I had a job to do and at hand, and it's like death. There's deaths that will bum you out, but you can't do anything about it. It's not like a doctor who fought to save them and then they died on them. When I am dealing with somebody, they're gone.
They're gone. Yeah, you didn't know them. You didn't see it happen.
Yeah, the best I could do for them and the family, which is what this helped more than the people who were getting run to the ground working as much as they were. It was also getting their loved ones returned to them, in a quicker
some
fashion.
Sort of memory, something.
Yeah, instead of like your loved one, has died lonely death of COVID in the hospital, and then you don't even have their cremated remains or anything for a month.
Yeah. Now, is there? I mean, obviously, you're doing not all COVID patients, but are the majority of people that are COVID positive old, or are they? I mean, because I hear stories of them being young and kids are starting to get affected now. I mean, was it really like a huge majority of older people? I mean,
60 plus was the majority.
Was the majority?
Yeah. It was rare that there would be anybody else younger.
Yeah.
And of course, yes, underlying health conditions and some, I didn't see their full report or, death certificate,
Yeah.
Ours would just have we wouldn't see the weight and the age and if they were COVID positive or not.
Right. Okay.
And of course, everything got treated as if COVID, like I said,
well, that's another thing too, is they're claiming people died of COVID that, may have died from a fucking heart attack, but they tested positive for it. You know what I mean? That's what we're hearing, at least, it's like the numbers are skewed so bad. They don't really know what's, the whatever 80,000 people or whatever that have died or whatever.
They can't write death caused by COVID unless there was a positive test that came back that said it.
Right. Okay.
Any doctor that would do that is going to get fucked.
You think so?
Oh yeah. That's malpractice. They're trying to, it's an insurance scam.
Well, because that's what you're hearing from, the conspiracy side, is that like they're not logging every body properly. That's what that's what you hear is. But you would know better than any of us because you literally look at it.
That's the thing.
All day.
It's been irritating as fuck, and I come back and I start seeing all this bullshit. And that lady in Ojai, and the pandemic, and this other shit.
All that shit, yeah.
It's like, check out what the thing is as we know, social media and all that shit. That's why they call it clickbait, because you click on it, they just ching. Yeah, somebody made some money, something happened.
Yeah.
Okay,
whether it was views or likes
to somebody else. Yeah. So. Just like when you make a t-shirt when something happens, or you're gonna do that, you hop on the event, you take advantage of it. And that's what this bullshit is about. You can't have one person going, hey, and all these doctors are out there stupid as fuck. Yeah. And oxygen reading in the blood's really easy to take, there's the ventilator thing. That may have happened. It probably did happen. They were treating it like pneumonia, and the ventilators can be programmed to work as a pressurized system to open up the lungs, which can also damage the lungs, and or you can program it to oxygenate. And
okay.
So there was a whole thing on that, that all these people died because of that, because it's one,
so the ventilators are killing them, not the fucking COVID.
And it's back and forth, sure. We're all professionals. We all know our shit, and we heard from somebody, and some anonymous person posted.
Well, it's always they said,
Right.
Yeah.
People feel, that's the thing now, people feel woke.
Oh yeah.
The people who, like Reverend Jim Jones I referenced, those motherfuckers felt woke,
Oh, yeah.
Look at them.
Those guys were right, dude, as far as they were concerned. You know what I mean? Like, they were totally dead right. They died for it. You know what I mean? It's
and that's the big thing now. As, again, us being punk rock and different things, we've always questioned government and authority. Always thought the world functioned in a bullshit way.
Right.
But I think there's this majority out there now that suddenly went, what? The news lies to us?
Oh,
politicians are run by corporations. And they're going, sheeple. you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there's a big part of that, I think, that's going on too.
Yeah, you got your nose so high in the air that it's up your own ass. It's fucking
Yeah.
somehow, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And to declare anything as fact without facts to back it up
Mm-hmm.
is fucking ignorant. And,
Yeah.
we're in the
Well,
world.
it's how it's almost like the blessing and curse of free information and internet. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you have to wade through so much garbage to fucking find the real valuable point. You know, and it's like you can't even trust the CDC or the World Health Organization because they're changing minute to minute, right? I mean, on their guidelines and what they're seeing, and
they don't know
hey,
what's
maybe
going
that's
on.
how a fucking virus works, man. Maybe a virus changes minute to minute.
Right.
I read an article today that said that they're starting to see neurological effects from COVID.
Yeah.
Which is something they hadn't seen before. You know what
I
mean?
Don't
It's
fully
like
understand it and the clotting and different things too.
Yeah,
So
so
there's
who
maybe a
knows what the
lot more
fuck's going on?
aspects to that.
I mean, if I were a virus, I would mutate in a million different ways as much as I could to do the most damage, right? I mean,
well, it's nature trying to kill us because we're assholes.
Well, we definitely deserve it, you know.
Yeah, we're a parasite on the earth, and it's trying to shake us off.
For sure, we've done a good job of shaving that motherfucker down.
Yeah. So
it's insane. I just don't even know. I don't know. You know, where do you? Well, it's something that I kind of want to ask. It's like you're there, you're on the ground floor, you see what's happening. I mean, how much of this pandemic bullshit? I mean, what do you even? I mean, did you feel one way about it before you went, and now that you're home, you feel another way, or?
No, again, and that's why I don't make a comment too much on like people who are protesting. Now, I'm all cool with the protesting, but wear a fucking mask and keep your distance.
Right. Well, and what bothers me is you got your kids there, dude. You got your kids there breathing everyone else's air. You're a fucking moron. You know what I mean? Like,
I can understand
protesting is an American right. I think a lot of the shit they're doing, whether it's in our best interest or not, it really does go against the Constitution. You know what I mean? It's unconstitutional. It's not legal.
Right.
They can't arrest people for fucking protesting. They shouldn't be arresting people for fucking walking into a store with a mask. Obviously, the store has the right to refuse the service, but whatever.
Right.
Like, but what is wrong with being a little over paranoid for a minute? You know what I mean?
Well, and like you were saying, and I feel the same way. We've already took that leap, and it would sure suck after the sacrifices that we made. Mm-hmm. To fuck it all up. I mean, you can't imagine like going, hey, you know what? Let's do it. And all of a sudden COVID just jumps, and it jumps like New York did, Yeah. And then we go, oops.
Well, and it's hard to imagine that it can get as bad as New York here.
Right.
It just can't,
New York's stacked upon. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people,
Dude, I think you're going to see a huge mass exodus out of New York after this is all done.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
I think a lot of people are going to start really rethinking what they want to do. Greenpoint, Brooklyn might not be the fucking spot, dude. You know what I mean? Like, well,
maybe
because it has such little appeal to me to live in a big city like that. Like, first of all, I don't fucking like neighbors. Second of all, you know what I mean? I don't need to have 20,000 of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not in my DNA whatsoever. You know what I mean? So I understand it if you work there, but I can't imagine. I couldn't imagine living there, dude.
Yeah, no.
It
I got to see it to where, I mean, I checked out all the boroughs like in one day, and that
really,
that's
impressive. I mean,
I got to drive. I parked for free, for Christ's sakes. I found parking in the area I wanted to go.
Wow.
In New York. And it's kind of like,
I've driven around for 2.5 hours trying to park a van in a trailer in New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then had to pay $60 still.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, it has done good things for traffic. I mean, watching the 405 and the 10 and all that, it's like.
One quick sec. Let me turn this light on real quick.
No worries, man.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see was the 405 if I was still in the area.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I hit the freeway today at 6:00.
Yeah.
And it was wide open.
Wow.
I was like, wow, man, that's awesome. But that's great. So you did 2 solid weeks there. I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel fatigued? You've only been home for a couple of days, right?
Yeah, when I got home with the time change and with the hustle and, my life, except for that one day off, was, even though the hotel room was designed nice, it was this dark little fancy hotel.
Yeah.
And then the crematory, Oh, I
Yeah.
was on the Hudson, though.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I'd walk like the Acme Market and walk along the Hudson. So it was nice out there, and I could see, Manhattan and all that. So.
And how was, I mean, is there any, I mean, I know you said the vibe is apocalypse over there, but
Yeah,
I mean, are people out at all, or is it a fucking ghost town over there?
they're out, but they started opening up some of the parks before I left. And
Okay.
I think it was that Saturday I actually had off, but the police monitored it closely to make sure that people were practicing social distancing and stuff. So the police would just park and hang out and shoot the shit, and
Yeah.
And then I again was along the Hudson, and I was in kind of a posh area, and so people were jogging, doing their thing, but they were being good for the most part.
So they're taking it very seriously over there, most of the
part. Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so when I arrived, I thought I'm going to be working 10 to 14-hour days. Who knows, and the place they got me had a full fridge and all that. So as soon as I landed, I was like, is there a market that I could walk to? And they said, Acme. So I go walking. First time on the East Coast too, and I'm walking in these nice apartments, and it looks like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at this. This is so nice.
Well, yeah. That's the first time you've been on the East Coast?
First time. Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
what a wild way to view. I mean, it's like going there like right after 9/11, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're like,
yeah.
During it, I guess. I don't know,
Yeah, exactly. It was a trip. Makes me not want to go back if it's back to normal with all the traffic.
Right. Yeah.
I got a little taste when they opened things up, and it sucked.
You didn't take any public transit or nothing, no subways?
No, they gave me a car, so they hooked me up good.
Yeah.
I had a car. They paid for all my expenses.
Yeah.
Well, I had to pay for them. I'm waiting for reimbursement.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything was on the hotel, the attached restaurant. Still had a limited menu, but I can order things to my room. So I was eating damn good. And
that's good, man.
They bought me dinner or lunch at the crematory. So it'd be like a local restaurant, So
were you working a day shift or like a night shift, graveyard?
I started out day, and then I started working 3 to 11, which and then to midnight. So yeah, I was kind of in that zone, which I haven't worked the night shift for a long time.
yeah, for sure, man.
That one made it harder to organize your life. I liked getting off at around 5 or whatever, and like I said, I'd walk through the Hudson,
have the evening,
go to Acme Market and get some provisions and head back. And but that's, we were talking about what was trippy is when I land. Like I said, I'm walking through these posh apartments, and it looks like a Hallmark movie, and then get to the Acme Market, and they have the front closed off, and they're saying entrance through the garage only. And then so they're going past the trash bins and all this stuff, and then going in through the garage, and that's when it felt apocalyptic. Everybody had a mask. There was barely anybody there. And of course, as usual, the cleaning aisles like practically emptied out. And,
no toilet paper to be found.
Right. No toilet paper,
yeah,
no
so
disinfectant.
That might be the weirdest part of this whole thing.
Yeah, that shit blew my mind. I mean, I was fortunate that we bought toilet paper before that became a reality.
Yeah. I've only had to hunt for it once since, you know what I mean? And it's like, this is ridiculous, dude. But I have I have one of those tushies, so I'm good, bro. I've been, I'm good.
Too.
Yeah, for sure. But, that's crazy, man.
It happened here. Like I said, this is a small town, and so it happened everywhere. Before hitting the news, just the first reaction, everybody was like toilet paper, and I still like to know the answer to that.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy. I mean, so then the difference of being back now is, so gnarly on the East Coast, and then then you come home on the West Coast, and they're all saying it's a fucking conspiracy, and it's, what I mean? Like, I don't think there's anyone in New York saying it's a conspiracy.
No,
probably not even on the western, northern, eastern, West Coast at this point.
Yeah,
I mean,
never heard that shit out of anybody's mouth.
Right.
And then you get here with everybody that I don't know. And it's a lot. And people like, there's just some people I'm going, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
You know, I've had good friends, people that I adore that I would like, and I'll be like, so here's my experience, you know, and they're talking about the death. Now, don't call it COVID, but whatever the fact is, there's like 3 to 4 times the amount of death
Right.
in the New York state. So what the fuck is that?
Exactly.
You know? So
It's
call it
not
whatever
nothing.
the fuck you want, but a lot of people are dying.
Yeah.
A lot of people are working around the clock. You know, I had, for my PPE, I had a scab on my nose, you know, and I showed you earlier that, you know, my arm, which has gotten
I mean,
better.
you're rushing to take bodies out at 1500 degrees so you
Yeah.
can get another body in there, right?
Yeah. So I had heat rash that eventually started scabbing because my arm is slow roasting from,
Yeah, you
know.
smoked your arm, dude, like a
Yeah.
pellet grill.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. That's fucking nuts, man. I mean, yeah, you know, that's why it drives me nuts. You know, I have family members and which I love to death, and
Mm.
you know, and they just tell me the shit, and I'm like, dude, you know, but they also have never been out of the state. You know,
Right.
I mean, never been across the country. They've never seen the world. They don't, you know, I'm like, dude, I know like 10 people that have had it, like bad had it. You know, I
Yeah.
have tons of friends in New York that are literally trying to not die. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you want to say, man, that's fine. But
Yeah.
you know, I gotta, you know, that's why I wanted to have you on, because
Yeah.
you're at ground zero. You're burning the
Yeah.
bodies of the people that are dying, you know, whether they're
Right.
COVID or not. But I mean, even if there are, you know, a normal 300 a month and now you're at 900,
Right.
something's fucking going on, man.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The
Exactly.
government's not that fucking efficient, dude.
No.
They're not that good at killing people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not,
Yeah, they're
it
not
doesn't,
Jason Bourne kind of shit. That's one thing, you know. It's like
yeah, dude.
the
I mean,
government. I always thought it's like the government. It's never Jason Bourne kind of shit. You know, they're kind of stupid and falling on themselves. But
yeah, I mean, at least, you know, I mean, they, you know, some of those fucking military people get busy, but you
well,
know,
yeah,
that's on a level we'll never know about, essentially. You know
no,
what I mean? But
yeah. If you know about it, you're dead.
right, yeah. So,
Because they're
but I
that
mean,
bad.
you know, the general government doesn't run shit well. You know what I mean? And they don't plan shit well either. You can see
No,
it with the rollout. You know what I mean?
right,
It's like what they should be doing is going area to area. Have you been affected? Is it bad? I mean, is it manageable? Okay, fucking open up your stores. You know what I mean?
right.
But I get it. The machine is so big that, you know, once you start rolling out fucking guidelines in California and stuff, how are you gonna reverse it state to state or county to county? Like, how are you gonna
Well, like I
do
said, then
that?
you
You
could
know?
fuck up and then end up having both the economy fucked
Mm-hmm.
and then a bunch of people dying.
Yeah, a bunch of
And then
people
you're
going
a
to the hospitals.
lose situation. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
you got to ride the sacrifices that we made.
yeah,
Uh, again, with the protesters, with any of it. Now, I believe, and I don't have a strong opinion on this. Like I said, I haven't been affected because I've been working and shit. So you know, I'm sympathetic for those who had to even rely on the government to survive. These small businesses,
right. And
which,
I'm fortunate to be working too, and so is my wife. You know,
yeah,
I got lots
uh,
of people that are not. You know.
yeah, and that sucks. And I feel for them because trying to deal with the government, especially when they're overwhelmed and trying to get any, you know, recoup from any of it.
Yeah, getting unemployment in general is a nightmare. You know what
Right,
I mean? When
right.
it's all good. You
Yeah,
know?
and now
Yeah,
you've got, you know what, you know,
yeah.
I don't know what the percentage is, but it's probably
Yeah, it's
from
high. It's very
3 to
high.
like 14%, or I don't know.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Is
It's
it?
yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So, um, yeah, and that system's already kind of fucked and messed up anyways. But uh, so
100%.
on that, I can't have a big opinion, nor would I. But I do know that if we wore proper masks, if we had hand sanitizer everywhere and on our person, and utilized it and kept our distance, we could function. And of course, again, those with immune disorders or the elderly should stay the hell away. And we should
Yeah.
make sure that they're comfortable in that happening. So
Right.
we could exist, but we're humans. We're
Right.
selfish, stupid assholes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not going to happen. And that's where
Yeah.
we have half the laws we have: seatbelt laws, helmet laws, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because they're trying to protect the stupid, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or people that might not think it's cool, you know.
Or just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I've met so many people that don't fucking care. You know what I mean? It's like, well, hope you get it, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it takes for you to realize like life kind of matters, but
yeah,
right. It's so shocking to me.
A fucking mask and distance at the
well,
very
and
least.
it's literally because you don't want to look dumb.
Right. And how
there's
dumb
no
is that?
like there's no reason to not wear it besides you don't want to look dumb. Like,
yeah, and it's like you get
guess what? You look dumb anyway. You know
yeah.
You got a fucking mullet, buddy, and you're missing teeth.
Right.
You know, it's like you look dumb, dude. You're a dumb looking motherfucker.
I saw a mullet with missing teeth.
Yeah,
no mask
not
on.
wearing a mask.
Hey, mama, we're gonna get some cantaloupe.
Giddy up and through the store. You know, it's like get the fuck out of here. And I'm not saying all hicks are like that, but
no, definitely
not. I mean,
but,
if you're missing teeth, whatever.
Yeah, but still,
it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to look stupid, dude. Like your ego is that fucking fragile that you just don't want to look stupid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know, right? You know.
That's pretty much it too. Or they don't want to seem paranoid or whatever, this and that. It's like big fucking deal. You know, being a person who is confident and shit like that doesn't give a fuck. You know,
I don't care.
Like, hey, this is the right thing to do. Got my mask on. You know,
totally, man.
Don't give a fuck what you think.
Yeah, it's bananas. I don't understand how
it's humans.
It is humans, and you're right. I mean,
and that's why
I think there's probably 40% of us that are pretty caring, decent people, and then 50-60% probably could go.
Yeah.
And I don't wish it, but it's like
too bad it doesn't attack the stupid.
I know that would be nice, dude. They were calling it the boomer slayer, right? Or the
I didn't hear that one.
Oh yeah, they've been calling it. I can't remember.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's funny to say it when you're not burning the bodies.
Right. I know. Now you're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, fuck, never mind. Yeah.
I wouldn't say the experience wasn't traumatic to me. I was glad I can help. I'm glad I didn't catch it. Well,
I didn't. Now, were you tested before you left? Did they give you an actual
I still
test?
don't know if I've caught it or asymptomatic. I will test a few days before I go back to work.
Oh, they will give you a test.
They didn't say anything about it. That's kind of fucked up. They didn't give me any protocol.
Not a word, huh?
Yeah, I go there and I do my thing, and then it's kind of like
later.
Yeah,
go back home.
On a plane.
Yeah.
To 2 different airports.
Mm-hmm.
3 different airports.
Yeah.
And 2 different planes. And I'm stuck in a fuselage with people. And like I said, there's people in front of me not wearing masks. But I was like, fuck you, I'm not wearing a mask.
I don't want to look like an idiot.
I don't look stupid.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Cool, motherfucker.
You should just lean forward and be all, I just burnt 1,000 bodies from COVID. Whoop!
I know, I almost wanted to.
Yeah. Oh man. So now you're home. You got 2 weeks. Are you off? You're off for 2 weeks. Hopefully paid, right?
Oh yeah.
Paid. There you go.
Doesn't come out of any of my other pay too, so that was
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Are you getting hazard pay or anything over there? Or?
No. Hazard pay is at the discretion of the employer.
Got it.
I will be getting a bonus. I heard.
Sure.
The crematorium I was at, they're super appreciative.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was needed. And like I said, I hate corporations, but in this context, we were able, and for the families, like again, the death industry is always technically for the families when it comes down to it.
For sure.
There's been like ape shit things there. I mean, people are overrun. The funeral homes are overrun. You never hear about us, the last responders either,
Yeah, it's always the first responders, right? Yeah.
You don't hear shit about us. I heard McDonald's was giving free meals to healthcare workers and all that. I thought, what? I bet if I pulled up, I don't eat McDonald's. But, I bet if I pulled up and said, I'm with blah, 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 and do that like that. I heard you're giving meals. Like, what?
They're all get out of here.
You're not a healthcare worker?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Well, I'm a death care worker.
Yeah. It's like, those people that died, the thousands upon thousands of 26,000 people, whatever the fuck it has.
Right, man.
I'm one of those people dealing with it,
That's so wild. Yeah. And you don't. It just gets overlooked, because, once the person's dead, I mean, unless it's your family and this and that,
right.
you just hear these numbers and they don't mean a fucking thing to you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Until you really have to deal with it, you know?
You don't, and you think about it. That started in March,
Right.
and there's like 27,000 people. I don't know what it is right now. Actually, I
Yeah.
haven't followed me, but in New
I
York
should look it up.
and New Jersey area alone,
Yeah.
COVID, not anything. And then again, back to like people saying that they get more money. I heard they do get a little bit more money if you're on Medicare because it's the resources that are used for it.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, it's not. Like I said, any doctor who did not have a positive test submitted and come back to declare it COVID. Otherwise, they'd call it respiratory distress. If they don't have that test backing up the cause of death, then they're going to get fucked after this is over.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody who's gone through all that years of medical school and shit like that are going to be like, hey, you know, like their hourly rate's not going to go up.
Well, and then like, what's the benefit of them doing it?
Right.
Helping the government look right on their numbers? I mean, they are, as of right now, so 1.4 million people have been affected, confirmed. 235,000 have been recovered, and we're at 83,000 deaths, right? So worldwide, that's the United States, you know. So, I mean, and it is, you know, it's not far off from what Fauci said. It's really fucking not. Like, I mean, he was saying 100 to 200,000 if it gets bad. I mean, we're fucking inching on 100,000 right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's not far off. So you can say whatever you want, you know what I mean? But the numbers aren't going to lie. But that's when the whole, you know, you believe anything you want to believe until it becomes your reality. You know what I mean? Like all these people that are saying that these numbers have been manipulated to meet the government's fucking call out or whatever. It's like, dude, you can say whatever you want, man, but it's still 83,000 deaths. You know what I mean?
Well,
and do more people die of the flu every year? Yeah. I mean, yeah, but this is in the last 4 months, 3 months, you know?
Exactly.
And it hasn't even affected, you know, 1.4 million. We're at what, 350 million in this country? It hasn't even affected fucking more than 5% of us yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it can get so much worse, dude.
And like they were talking about the curve, you know, they knew we were going to be fucked. Now, I don't know what the hell's going on with the health organizations that weren't preparing for it. If you would have asked me, Joe Blow, if another pandemic was inevitable, I'd say fucking A, it is. We had that happen almost annually, but we're able to squash it. This time we got our ass kicked. But my question is like, why? Okay, it's a pretty easy scenario. Say in this area, the hospital goes, okay, now if we had an early pandemic that was happening, you know, that was and most will be respiratory distress, you could sit there and figure out what would happen, right? You can figure it out on where would you get fucked. And that would be not having enough PPE, not having a ventilator. So I don't know why these healthcare industries don't have a storage facility somewhere with a bunch of this shit to prepare for it.
Yeah, it's really hard. You know,
at one point.
You know what it is because most of all that shit comes from fucking China, dude.
Oh yeah.
Our manufacturing is all done overseas. So now that the world shut down, how are you going to ship anything? Because, you know, I work in the construction industry. They shut down all the ports for 2 months.
Right.
Nothing's coming in. You know what I mean? Like, so now the whatever small surplus they have around the country, and I actually work right next to the EMS, like emergency response services.
Yeah.
You know, and they went into high gear, you know, and they actually rented Connexes from us for storage and shit, and they're getting masks and stuff, but they can't get enough. They cannot get enough. Not even to service Ventura County.
Right.
Get enough. You know what I mean?
And then how many things have originated from China disease wise, you know?
Well,
a
lot. Yeah. A lot, you know. And that's another thing, you know, it's like, you know, you can say what you want about.
But again, I'm saying they should have saw that where do we get our supplies? Will that be cut off? Because we'll have to close off the borders to stop things.
Right.
That's the first thing you
and
do.
fucking dickhead in office, you know, canceling the pandemic response team. I mean, do you hear any of that stuff at all? Or I mean, did you
I
hear any?
don't like to bring up his name.
Yeah.
I did wonder because I was in his stomping grounds. Like, what do you guys think of Trump? You know, and I think it said to somebody in Portland. I go, yeah, you know, I wonder kind of what they think of him with this being his stomping grounds. And
Yeah.
she's, I think, said, I don't know. I don't remember if it was something that was more positive or not. But yeah, you know, you bring up Trump and then you hear somebody go, well, he's done a lot. Our economy is great and blah, blah, blah. And
Oh,
then
is it?
go,
It's shut down, dude.
off.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Well, I just to assume that a scumbag fucking landlord, union busting, fucking non-paying piece of shit scumbag is gonna
All those are fact.
You know, do good for a country is like, you know, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you know, I at least wanted to give the guy a chance at the beginning. About 2 years in, I'm like, fuck this.
Well, I had to accept it and thought, okay, well,
yeah.
Healthcare. He said he was going to make it available across state lines and therefore create competition. I thought, okay, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck happened to that?
Right. Yeah. They went right where
I'll
everything
release
else
my
went.
taxes. I'm being audited now.
Yeah, exactly.
Now there's a team of lawyers fighting to not have them released.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just I mean, it's garbage. You put one garbage fire out to start another one. I mean, that's really.
And it's lost. Yeah. Like those things are forgotten because it's like so much bullshit.
Oh, it's one thing after another, you know what I mean? But I was just looking at the numbers. In New Jersey alone, we have 9,500 deaths so far. 15,000 recovered, 140,000 affected. New York is 21,000, almost 22,000 deaths so far. 300.
Yeah, that's right.
Pumped them. Confirmed. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And compared to California, which is 2,700 deaths.
Right.
You know, 67,000 affected. So I mean, realistically, and Oregon is looking at 130 deaths so far. Washington, you know, for them getting hit so early, they only had 945 deaths.
Yeah.
You know, but 20, almost 20,000 affected, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but I know, but California's been doing a great job as far as it goes, you know. It's just now it's at the point where it's like it seems to be overstepping with them just extending it to August, you know what I mean? And it's like
they got to have an answer. You can't tell somebody close your business. I haven't looked into it enough. I haven't had the time, you know, because I did go there and it's been, you know, fucking chaos. But cool. Tell people to shut down. But what are you going to do? Okay. Things have to be frozen. And why cannot they be frozen? You know, and if the banks aren't going to do shit, some of them are given like their little Christmas, like non-payment leniency and for payment. Freeze your shit and continue when it's over, you know? So if California would say, okay, we're extending it to August, you know, whatever, you said 10th. Well, then freeze people's shit, you know, that.
Yeah, of course, you know. I mean, Italy completely, literally, like, froze all rent payments, all mortgages, all fucking, you know what I mean? Like, well, it just goes to show you how fucking bad this whole place is run, you know what I mean? It's been run bad for a long time. And now there's some glaring holes where it's like they don't get the help they're need. We're not getting the help we're needed. We're still asked to fucking go to work and paid all of our bills. And I mean, there is a little bit of relief, but $1,200 fucking dollars. Okay, great, dude.
All the people that got shit on with the $15 an hour.
Right.
What is, I saw a meme. Oh, God forbid I share.
Well, the world runs on memes now, so it's
but when it's good, it's good. And this one said, "Hell hath no fury like a white person inconvenienced," or something.
Like a bunch of Karens mad, dude.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of like that, you know. Fuck that, they don't deserve 15. That's not a livable wage, you know.
Yeah, it's barely a livable wage here in fucking Iowa. Guess what? That's a livable wage, man. You know.
And the thing is that's always been stupid because they compare it to military, which I even brought that up with military people who are like, oh, fuck, no way that's comparable because we get education, we get housing, we get this, we get that, you know.
Not only that, when you get out, you get a fucking GI Bill and you can buy a house with nothing down. You know what I mean? Like, and good for them. Good for them. They should have that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
don't go shit on somebody. If you work 40 hours a week, you should be able to afford a fucking studio.
At least, something. Yeah,
and
for
food
sure.
and gas, not
Yeah.
including internet and all that shit. We can call that a luxury. Not necessarily
Mhm.
nowadays. It's more than a luxury, but
Yeah.
come on, to bitch about that. But now it's like, can you imagine those people went, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm going to work. I'm going to put my life on the line
Well,
to.
and a lot of people are making more on unemployment now, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people, I have a lot of friends that are like, dude, I'm, with this extra stimulus money, they're putting in like they added an extra $600 to unemployment.
Yeah.
So now you can get like $1,000 a week. And a
Yeah.
lot of them are making more fucking money on unemployment now, dude. So it's like, what are you going to do? Like some of them, their businesses are starting to wanting to reopen and figure out how they're going to navigate that. And they're like, fuck, why? I'm going to ride this bitch out, dude. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm making $300 more a month not working right now,
Yeah.
than I am working for you who doesn't give a flying fuck,
Right. Right. You're kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. Do
And
you
let me
know
know when this is over. How's that?
that are, do you know what the government's doing?
About with what?
As far as like them not being able to operate, like we talked about John too. I mean, and Candace, does hair.
Mm-hmm.
So how I'm just wondering what's being done for the small businesses, because I know some are shutting down permanently now. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I know they were offering these 0 interest loans and stuff like that, but you hear stories like they put this huge stimulus relief package for small businesses, right? And the first ones that got it were the fucking Lakers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, dude, or Shake Shack and fucking all these, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and
Yeah, I
some
remember
of them
hearing that.
have given the money back,
Right.
but most of them, you know what I mean? Like, it's a fucking cash grab, dude. I
Right.
mean, these huge corporations are somehow making millions of money and no interest free money. You know what I mean? Like, they're making millions of fucking dollars off of it somehow.
Well, they have a team of lawyers that are there to do that for them.
Exactly. So
They
it's,
find the loopholes. So as soon as that happened, and lawyers were already going boom, 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 submitted.
yeah. And that's another thing, when it goes into conspiracy stuff, it's like, look, man, like, is it possible this shit leaked out of a lab on accident? Absolutely. Human error is, you know what I mean? Is it engineered? I doubt it. You know what I mean?
I doubt
Because
it.
the information I've read, the guys that really know, they're like, we're not smart enough to engineer a fucking virus that mutates this fast, that affects you in multiple ways.
Well, then you got to think of motive.
But is it possible that this Wuhan lab was selling fucking sick animals out of the back door to the wet market around the corner? Fuck yeah, it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
Is it possible that this pandemic is going to allow the rich and powerful to make moves and do power plays to gain yet more control and more power? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it a giant conspiracy to get it all done at one time? I don't think so, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I really, some parts maybe, but for the most part, people jump on opportunity. You know what I mean? Because people are trash. It's like,
they sit.
and
like
when it comes to making profit, they don't give a fuck.
Nope. Almighty dollar.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, an MDC. Capitalism is cannibalism.
Sure. Yeah.
But
And I do think I've said it before. I think we're in the last stages of fucking capitalism.
Yeah,
I think we're in the final stages of what you see, how capitalism, what it becomes eventually.
Well, that's the thing. There might be some good out of all this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we get to live to see it.
Yeah.
But things fucking suck.
Yeah.
I was thinking like racism was fading away.
Right. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're like, shit, it's alive and well.
There's guys wearing fucking KKK hoods in the stores. They're masks now. Great. Perfect. Yeah. It's like, oh, I wish I would have seen that guy, dude.
I know. No shit.
I would have chucked a fucking grapefruit in the back of his head.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, it's a trip. I mean, I do think that, when we do come out of this, which we will, it will subside. We will build up an immunity. There will be a vaccine eventually.
Right.
There will be something that we do. But I think this is, if people don't view this as a huge wake up call for like how fragile, because this is a very soft warning from Mother Nature.
Yep.
This is a very soft warning of how bad it can fucking be real quick. You know what I mean? Like, if we don't learn something from this, man, it's well, we don't deserve anything. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
we need that reality. We need to be checked. People, and with social media, again, we're all experts. Everybody's talking shit. Everybody's all blah, blah, blah. Everybody thinks they're woke, you know.
yeah,
We comment and involve ourselves in things that we have no reality of, you know.
or no business even being.
We're
there.
not seeing
Yeah.
fucking fighter jets flying across our sky and missiles coming out of nowhere and blowing up fucking buildings and shit, you know.
Exactly, man.
Where it's dangerous to walk down to the corner market to get it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we're a bunch of entitled,
So they're going, oh, look
we're
at
entitled little
oh,
kids
oh.
living in an ivory tower. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's yeah.
We're fat and spoiled.
Uh-huh.
And we have no fucking reality. We haven't been checked in a long fucking time, you know.
Right. Yeah. It's. I mean, you know, it's sad that it has to do this, but if they don't, like I said, if we don't really wake up and realize what's important, you know, what I mean, what's fucking necessary for a country to survive thousands of years, like other countries, you know, what I mean, we got 400 years in survival at this point as America, and it's like it ain't looking hot, dude. It's not looking hot right now. Yeah, so.
No.
You know, but I mean, I think we'll pull out of it. And you know, like I said, I hope that some things change and we go from there and everyone's a little more mindful about their position in life and how fast it can go away, you know, but until, you know, it's so American that you don't consider a fucking thing until it happens to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why we've been doing these like Corona Chronicles is what we've been calling them, you know, it's because it's like, there's shit that's happening that's, you know, even in your country that you don't even know, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
this is way historic. That was one thing, like being there. I was gonna bring my gloves home, it'd be like one of those historic things, like back in the coronavirus.
Dude.
You know, I left them. I wrote rock and roll on the knuckles of them too.
Oh, that's rad, dude. Yeah,
I'm leaving them.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. Well, you know, I appreciate your time, dude. It was great to talk to you. You know, I mean, any last things you want to say to anybody before we get out of here?
No, I think we pretty much wrapped it up.
Covered it, yeah.
You know? Like,
awesome,
wear your
man.
fucking mask, stay 6 foot, you know, quit being a selfish fucking dick.
Yeah.
That's my word.
All right, brother.
All right, man.